Welcome to the Nick and Zac Show. I'm one of your hosts, Zac, and we have with us finally again, Nick. And I think this is the first live stream with Nick.
Trying to think, probably.
Yeah, because, because screw us, screw our viewers, you don't care. Which is why we hate you. And why your name comes first in the list.
Okay.
But on the same note, we have everybody, and I mean everybody, taking this stay-at-home quarantine thing just a hair too far. And I got read the most insane thing that I have heard. Now, this is completely removed from it's in context because we removed name. I'm not showing it on screen. I'm literally going to read this to you. So your facial expressions are going to come as they go because this is insane.
Okay.
And I will do my best to edit like bad grammar or misspellings or my mispronunciations, because I don't know, that people are dumb. I got it. I understand this is serious. It needs to be taken seriously, but at the same time, I think there's such a thing as too far. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, there's definitely a thing that's too far. That's just
okay. I got it. I make jokes, drives my wife up the wall. She'll be like, it's allergy season. She'll start getting the sniffles, and I'll be like, oh, it's the coronavirus. The coronavirus is going to get us. And, she's just like, I hate you. Shut up. It's like, well, I know. That's why you married me.
We'll see how long Zac is alive after this, Brad.
Oh, no. I'm still working. I'm essential, which means I'm not buried in the backyard.
Right. Not yet.
If you don't hear from me for months on end, don't go looking for me. I just died of natural causes, or I disappeared and ran away. That's what we're going with.
Okay.
It's safer that way. Otherwise, you'll join me in the backyard. Weirdly enough, we don't have an actual backyard. We've got more of like a side yard. So if you're in the backyard, you're probably in like the neighbor's house. But people aren't taking this serious. Pause. I think lots of people are taking this serious. They stole all the toilet paper. Well, hoarded all the toilet paper from every fucking store for how long?
It's still missing in a lot of stores.
Okay. Pardon my language. We try to stay kid friendly. Moving back. At first, I was very unsure how serious this was going to get. Okay. And then all the toilet paper disappeared. That told me it was getting serious. They should have took a note from, the Army. When we deploy, you keep extra socks in your ruck for when your feet get wet, so you can take your used socks that are ruined now, and you have toilet paper.
Yeah.
Just let them dry first. Or don't. That's your problem. Now, I'm afraid of how bad it has got. Okay, that sounds... I'm not an English major. I'm a college dropout, but that sounds like that's not really... That statement on its own, but not in sentence structure or paragraph format, would make any sense. It would be has gotten, but, whatever. I'm afraid for my kids. I'm afraid for your children, too, because you put a double period at the end of that. Not a triple like it's a statement dragging on, but just a double period. Because, please, your kids are home right now. Lady that this is, your children are home right now. You're responsible for their education. Proofread your damn shit before... Child-friendly. Proofread your things before posting them like normal people. I've never thought of my kids possibly living in a world with space out. Me, or vice versa. V-I-S-E. Space V-E-R-S-A. No, pretty sure vice is V-I-C-E, not V-I-S-E. Correct me if I'm wrong. Vice versa.
Yeah, in the context of vice versa, it's V-I-C-E.
Correct.
In the context of a vice, an actual tool or implement used to clamp something down would be
Correct.
via SE.
Okay, correct. Thank you. Okay, wrong vice.
So,
Okay. Now, pause. I expect my kids to live in a world without me. I don't want to live in a world without my kids. That's why the parents die before the kids.
that is the natural order of things, yes.
Okay, just checking here. So I in fact entirely imagine a possibility of my kids living in a world without me. Maybe not that young, but in general, it is a thing.
They that's kind of our job as a parent, is to prepare them for the eventuality that we won't always be there.
And if they're young, that's why you have godparents and things and people
Right.
to take over in case, because you prepare for these things, because you think of the possibility of them living in a world without you. Who would have thought of such a thing?
Yeah.
Every Christian faith in history?
Possibly.
Just throwing that out there, you know. This virus makes that feeling all too real for me. It took this virus, the coronavirus, to make you realize how real this is. We have police getting shot every day and hit by cars. It even became at least as important temporarily in the state of Ohio of a police officer dying as this virus did during the virus.
Yeah. And they still don't get respect. So.
You know what never hits the news? The truck driver who falls asleep and doesn't wake up in the middle of fucking Montana. That's not national news.
No,
but it happens every day.
Yeah.
This virus shows it has no preference, just like death doesn't. If that's not a huge eye-opener for everyone, IDK, what is? I think IDK is I'm dumb. I have got nothing for the K. You're just dumb. We will go with I'm dumb okay, because K is short for K. Okay. All right. This virus shows it has no preference. It's a virus. I mean, the odds of somebody, the sickle cell even will hit anybody if you have the right gene code.
Right.
You don't just have to be African American. You just have to have African American ancestry. The odds are less that you'll get it, but it has no preference. It'll take you anyways if it can.
Right. It is transmittable, but it's not necessarily like a virus.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, but just for sake of argument.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a college dropout. All right. Stop asking me to understand science. All right. All right. You know how I passed human anatomy physiology in high school, my junior year, taking a senior year level science? I copied off the people around me and the teacher didn't care. Everybody felt bad for me because I was dumb. You know how many bones are in the body, in the human body? I don't know, but I know it doubles once I break all of them. That's all that matters. And if I use a hammer, it's infinity. It's all that matters. All right. This virus shows no preference.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, actually, it does. It's going after more men than women. They say that it might be because of men's lifestyles and the fact they don't like to go to the doctors. Could be, but it's killing more men than women are getting it and dying, right? Is what they're saying. And they're referencing Italy. So, I mean, it targets the old, so you're elderly. It targets the people with, I don't know, immunodeficiency disorders, any sort of health issues, lung issues, people who aren't that healthy, so people who are super healthy. So, in fact, it does discriminate. It has a preference.
It has the same preference of every virus known to history.
Okay, so we're alike here.
Yeah,
Oh God,
It
no, we're not done.
basically is okay.
Oh God, yeah, no, we're not done. Just like death doesn't, if that's not a huge eye opener, I don't know what is. Well, uh, whoever said death had a preference? Everybody dies.
We're all dying.
Well, I mean,
We're all living to die.
well, I mean, unless you believe in an afterlife. I mean, if you're an atheist, yeah, death doesn't matter. Like or it's the end of everything. I mean, if you're not, then no matter what your faith is, you believe there's something else afterwards. So I mean, it's just a doorway to walk through.
Yeah,
So
much.
the eye opener is I finally get to not deal with your stupidity. Oh, coronavirus stupidity. Coronavirus stupidity. I guess I'll deal with your stupidity. The coronavirus sounds like painful, though your stupidity is pretty painful too. This is a death sentence for most, especially with us becoming low on supplies. Okay, so there's supposed to be a comma here, I think. This is a death sentence for most, comma?
Yeah, that would be the proper, what's the word?
Okay, especially with us becoming low on supplies. Look, you had plenty of notice as everybody else. If you're hiding in your house and you're not ordering supplies in because they'll take them to your trunk of your car at Walmart and put them in it as long as you prepay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's doing this now. So if you are running low on supplies, it's a myth that that they're not getting restocked.
Yeah, no, everything's getting restocked. Like all the food is actually starting to come back to like a normal level where you can legitimately shop. Almost at the end of when it's closing, there's still supply stocked. Like so,
you see this, you notice this, I notice this. Idiots do not notice this. I do not understand stupid people. Stupid. I mean, this is astronomical stupidity here. I do not get it.
well, I mean, it is astronomical, but really, how much more can we expect from people that believe every word coming out of every media outlet here and there? You know, oh, I only follow this media outlet because they're always honest, and just to believe that blindly is in itself a stupid thing to do. If you're not willing to listen to other opinions, you're never going to grow as an individual, for one. And I think you and I have had that conversation multiple times. And then to just flat out have these people stay in their home and flat out believe everything is closed, the world is ending. It's only ending when the trucks stop moving supplies. The moment that happens is the moment you really have to worry about shit ending.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's people are freaking out, which I understand. People are going to freak out. I mean, these things happen. I mean, the freak out part, not the stupidity part.
Right.
I mean, these things happen. People freak out, but
everyone gets nervous.
This is a death sentence for us most, for most, especially with us becoming low on supplies. Your supplies don't affect this at all. Your social distancing does. I mean, you can go days without food. You have water, I'm sure, because your power hasn't gone out. Nobody's allowed to turn off utilities right now.
Exactly.
I'm not.
You're covered.
Yeah.
And if in all necessariness, learn some survival skills. You know, learn how to walk through the woods and find what the fuck you need. It's not that hard. If I didn't have toilet paper, yeah, I'd use my socks. When I run out of socks, guess what? I'm going to go out, forge some fucking leaves, grass, and bark and fucking make my own.
Well, I will say don't flush your socks if you have to use those in replacement of toilet paper. I would highly recommend not doing that.
That is a straight to the garbage bag ordeal. Like there's no flushing socks down the toilet. That is just fucking stupid. But then again, brings us back to the point of how stupid are people, because there are people that would probably use their sock and try and flush it. And that's just fucking retarded. I mean, there's probably a few brave souls out there that would probably reuse their socks by, you know, wiping, washing, and reusing.
Well, I mean, they tell you to do that with your children's diapers things too. The people running out of diapers, they're all like, make a diaper at home if you can't, if you don't have diapers. I mean, they're called cloth diapers. It's like, oh, hey, people are thinking there's ways. Now, I will give the people who have like pitched in to help these moms get their diapers and things, but people freaked out that, oh, how dare the police department help this mom get her diapers because she did, or formula or whatever. I mean, it was just not long before this virus thing, but it's like
Yeah. Yeah, they
it's
want
like,
to say it's a waste of taxpayer dollars or something because a couple officers decided to be good Samaritans
but if
out
they
of their
didn't
own
do it,
pocket.
if they didn't do it, then they would have been horrible people.
Exactly. Yeah, and that just kind of goes to show the state that we're in currently, that everyone views law enforcement as being wrong no matter what they do. And it's even starting to seep over into how people view the military, and that, oh, it's not as common as it used to be, but there are people out there that still believe that the military is nothing but child killers and just horrible people blindlessly following orders.
No,
I
no,
mean,
you got to remember now it's martial law.
oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, we're about to go under martial law by a bunch of people that haven't had exactly enough training to handle situations. You and I, we were both on active duty, and so we have a completely different view. You started off in the National Guard and then went active duty. So, how many of the people do you believe from your days in the National Guard are actually capable of withstanding any kind of mass outbreak?
Most of them were, I mean, well, a lot of when I was in the guard, they were all prior active duty. So I mean, that's
So then
not
that's a
really a
different
good,
situation.
yeah, not really a good.
What if we look at a parallel unit that isn't backfilled with a lot of the prior active duty guys, the guys that are, even some of the prior active duty guys, they've fallen into that category of been in the guard way too long, little too laxed. I mean, how
Yeah,
many times
no,
have
I
we
mean,
seen them
I'm not saying they didn't have their issues. The problem just being that, a lot of them were like just got back from Iraq. You got to remember when I joined, it was '04. Every guard unit was deploying. So, I mean, I can't even lie. I mean, it would not be a good reference for that.
reference? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
So
I
then
will say that I've served alongside a lot that weren't that on par.
right. I mean, when I look at units now, as they're some of the units you and I came across when we were on our active duty time, they were far underprepared and far under equipped to even handle a standard, well, as standard as it gets, a standard deployment like we do. You know?
Right, it wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's the people we're expecting to come in and enforce laws, but the other thing people are failing to understand is that there's two types of martial laws. There's martial, as in MARSHALL, and that's where code enforcement and the National Guard kind of backfills on like the law enforcement side to help with the impact, not a pure, strict martial, militaristic military marching up and down the streets enforcing curfews and shit.
Well, the big problem everybody doesn't realize is how often the National Guard actually does get activated, because it's usually not a nationwide thing where they have to, but they are to serve the community because they need to, and the federal government is paying the bill. So,
Yeah. They pay the bill to an extent because it still also comes out of the state budget. National Guard is specifically for the state and governed by the governor of that state that they're in.
right.
Whereas,
Which they could just nationalize them, but they're not.
right. But then again, nationalizing them could also go against the Constitution, stating that each state has its right to maintain its own militia.
No. No, because they can always be nationalized.
Yeah, could be. And it would free up a
And
portion of the budget.
well, in due to emergency, it can be nationalized. So what you're saying, because it's written in that because they're the National Guard, they're not the national militia, which is why militias don't. We're getting into Second Amendment depth
Yeah.
here that the National Guard isn't the state militia. So, but they
Right.
are the Minutemen of the state.
Right.
which is
And
different.
that's
But
their procedure.
now we're striving way too far down politics for a 30-minute live
We'll,
stream.
we'll bring it back to the coronavirus and the absolute stupidity of people not taking it serious or believing other people aren't taking it serious. It's a virus. Viruses affect people 1,000 times a day. Everyone gets a virus at least once or twice a year in a different type of strand and different aspect of what it could be.
And not saying don't follow the national guidelines, because you should in fact follow the national guidelines.
And I am
It is
saying
highly
100%.
it is highly infectious. It is highly for people with this. We have to try to protect the people with the serious risks that would be involved in it, which we have to do, which is completely understandable. But people need to stay calm about this. I mean, the one time everybody's, I see the kitty. Thank you. The one time that that everybody goes, the federal government's actually doing what it's supposed to do, which is help out because they shut down our entire culture.
Right.
The one time every Democrat and socialist should be 100% thrilled the government's giving people money. Whoa, 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 whoa! Trump bad, orange man bad, and it's like, wait,
and it's because it's an election year. They can't afford for him to look good. And I mean, we're kind of
no. I mean, just not even the news media. I'm talking just your average person who is so anti-Trump.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to admit he could be doing something good or doing something right.
Oh yeah, they just refuse to see it. Bringing it back around to the coronavirus and that we do have to follow CDC guidelines. It's definitely a serious virus because of how fast and how heavy it has hit. It wasn't really expected. We barely got wind of China getting it before it was already in America and already at our doorstep and basically in our house. I'll try. As far as treating it as a serious virus, yes, definitely treat it as a serious virus. Keep your social distancing. Work to protect those that have the autoimmune deficiencies, the elderly, the extremely young, the ones prone to getting the most serious case of this virus. Whereas if you're a perfectly healthy adult and someone that can absolutely be involved and continue to hi Zach and continue to good man, this is wonderful.
Like mid-rant shit changes. Yeah, nobody can hear you because your microphone's so far from you, but that's fine. But it's let's put it this way: my 3-year-old just discovered new CDC guidelines, and apparently toothpaste is now soap for washing your hands when you go potty. Now, at the same time, I'm going to go, my 3-year-old understands to wash her hands after she goes potty. Why is it we have full-grown 40-year-old adults? That's probably better, Zach. Full-grown adults that are probably in their 40s that are just now finally realizing they need to wash their hands after they go potty. I mean, I'm 33. I'm going in and dealing with people on a daily basis in highly infectious areas. I've literally made the joke to them, wow, you were telling people to wash their hands before it was cool.
Yep.
Well,
because they've had signed up forever.
The hands thing is a lot of the places that I was delivering to would have remote soap dispensers, the remote or the motion sensing soap dispensers, the motion sensing paper towel dispensers too. But the faucet, you still had to touch that both ways. It's like, hang on a minute, why would you even bother? You know what I mean?
Because because you're dumb and you don't read the directions that literally say once you get your paper towel from the motion sensor paper towel, use the paper towel to turn off the faucet.
Oh, yeah.
So you're dumb.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, they mount it on a totally different wall, all the way away from the area where the sinks are. You know, it's like, why?
Well, waste their water.
side stupid thing.
No. Yeah, I mean, you make a
Throw
valid
in there.
point. I mean, I think those stupid
Yeah.
motion sensor paper towel dispensers are the dumbest thing ever because they never give you enough paper towel. Who uses this big of a sheet? I use more toilet paper than they give freaking paper towel.
Oh yeah, that's why I always like. You can trick the machines though. Pull on it just slightly, wave your hand again, it'll give you more.
No, because you go to a lot of
Smaller
these that
sheet.
now there's none hanging out until you run your hand under it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, the washing hands thing. I mean, that should be common sense for everybody. It's kind of pathetic, It's like having to tell everybody, yeah, I'm walking away from the kids, so that way you don't constantly hear them, and we don't constantly have them interrupting us.
Oh, we lost.
I'll be right back. Hold on.
No, we lost. Yeah. Okay.
I'm still here.
No,
I'm
not.
We lose Zach.
Yeah. Black had jumped in and he disappeared. He said, wash your hands and water's good and bad, and I really don't understand his CDC guidelines. And then he went away. Zach, not of the Nick and Zac Show, decided to follow the link to give 5 minutes of intro and gave us 2 minutes and then just disappeared off the face of the earth. Yeah, so definitely interesting. Ooh, you know people without Ooh.
What?
My wife's finally starting to figure all of you out by first names instead of by, like full descriptions. So, yeah, she's starting to figure out all of you by first names alone, which I don't know whether it's good or bad. Does that count as doxing that my wife knows your guys? Oh, did I accidentally dox you not on the internet? You're supposed to do that on the internet. I screwed up. I'm sorry.
Huh?
He got
I'm
the
lost
joke.
because
Screw
I lost
you,
connection. That wound up coming back.
We just talked literal crap about you because we try to stay somewhat family friendly. We try to watch our swearing, which I'm the screw up today, which usually it's Nick.
Because usually I'm the first one
to
fly.
You can always count on me to be the screw up on that one at times, but okay.
But so, anyways, they're trying to close this out in about 2.5 minutes because we promised a 30-minute only. It's bath time here in a bit, and so if I'm on during bath time, we have freak out because
I already took care of that with these three little hellions.
Water is scary unless it's wash your hands time, and then it's toothpaste apparently today. That's the new thing. But her hands will smell minty fresh.
Right. Possibly tingle a little from all the mint. But
well, that's not different than the peppermint hand sanitizer.
That's true. So it's something she's used to.
Yeah, but then you have the problem of trying to explain why your kid is licking their hands.
No, my child eats her hair. So licking the hands, not a problem, until she thinks she's a kitty and then tries to be a kitty and lick everything. Hands, arms, elbows.
Speaking of which, my kid did that the other day. She watched what was it, Puppy Pals? They were the episode where they were talking about where maple syrup came from. Yeah, next thing you know, we're outside, we're playing in the front yard and everything, and she licks the tree.
Can you tell, for one, the fact he knows the Puppy Dog Pal episodes by what was going on, that he was off work for 6 months prior to the coronavirus because of a surgery recovery?
Well, I'm actually on FMLA now because of the other shoulder.
Could you be on better timing?
Yeah, I blew out the good shoulder now.
Well,
and I actually did that during a physical fitness test as well. So guys, go ahead and laugh it up really hardcore on that one.
here's my thing. Like, we're doing rotating days off, but it's not working because people are getting mad because other people are working in their area rather than them, which kind of makes a lot of sense. So they took days off. So people who were supposed to have days off for the rotation aren't, because other people said, "Screw you, I'm taking vacation," which they're like, "That's fine. We wanted
Well,
you
they're
to
making me burn
anyways.
out my
You
vacation,
cost
so
more."
I'm going to get paid at least through next Friday, and then I'm filing for unemployment. So, I mean, that's what's happening with the shoulder now. There's a lot more to the story as far as all that stuff goes, but I was put on FMLA, so they're going to have to pay the unemployment then once the vacation times ran out.
Which they'll tax right off anyway, so it really won't matter.
That works.
So, I mean, yeah. Everybody's in crunch time right now, which really isn't helping because people are starting to get frustrated with their employers if they're still able to work. There's a lot of people begging to not work, but those of us still able to work that go, I still have bills to pay and you haven't done anything financially for us yet. I'm still going to keep paying my bills.
Well,
I don't have
the
a choice
FMLA paperwork. After the FMLA paperwork was filled out, somebody complained inside the office, and this guy's created problems for me before. But anyhow, he complained, and they wound up offering me a job paying almost $5.50 less per hour in a totally different position. And it's like, no, my FMLA paperwork signed, not happening.
Yeah.
And cutting my 20 hours of overtime out every week that I was used to.
Yeah, that's really dumb. But that's the problem,
I'm going to do better on unemployment than I would working in that case, and I'm able to meet my bills then just off the unemployment.
The problem is right now everybody is hurting and they're also scared because you can't. How do you get away with firing anybody right now? All they have to do is say that you're trying to cut chaff because you're trying to save your business, in which case that's going to be illegal.
And to go back on the track with the coronavirus stuff too, with me being in this catch-22, reserves, injure my shoulder there. Well, of course, the Army doesn't have workers' comp. So me being a truck driver, can't use my arm the right way. I can't drive. So with the coronavirus, I can't even go to the next echelon of care with the VA to go through the physical therapy for them to be able to be like, okay, yeah, you definitely tore your rotator cuff. Time to do the imagery and then go from there in order to get the surgery and everything else done. Yeah. I can't even move my arm in one direction at all.
Well, the solution to that is
cut the arm off. Keep going. Merely a
flesh
wound.
No, I was going to say 800 milligram ibuprofen and drink some water. Go use the bathroom. Take a deuce and you move on with life. And what kind of failure are you not being able to pass your PT test even when your arm gives out? Come on.
Yeah, when I haven't taken one in 2 years, and that was to get promoted too.
Oh, hey, by the way, they are now saying that there's a potential, because I haven't heard it from an actual doctor, and it's being passed around all of Facebook world. Don't take aspirin ibuprofen because it may make you more susceptible to this virus. So they gave you plenty more ibuprofen.
That is actually, don't quote me on, I can't remember the name, but that is actually coming from a medical doctor.
No, the medical doctor that in this country that said anything said it may or may not be. I'm not confirming nor not confirming that this is a thing. Use your own caution and talk to your doctor.
True. But where they're getting that guidance and where that's floating around from is the equivalent of our Surgeon General, France's guy that's in that same type position, head medical officer, whatever the heck you want to call them. They're the ones who put that out.
Well,
so it's another country that's putting that out, not to take the ibuprofen with it.
I'm just saying for over
humor. Here, it's like, okay, what do you do when you tell a person that has a liver problem that they can't take ibuprofen as a fever reducer?
Yeah.
Because they can't take Tylenol.
I think we lost Nick briefly. He got up and walked away and didn't say anything.
It's all right. I got my camera off anyhow because, go figure, my screen's cracked right across the camera lens on the front of this thing.
No, you're fine because
But
that actually worked out better
I'm
earlier.
sparing you guys the ugliness.
Right. It saved time earlier.
Yeah, it's sparing you guys, messing up your vision worse.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it made things hazy at the start of the video, so it actually worked. I thought it was kind of somewhat on purpose. So the first time around.
No, it's actually legitimately cracked across the camera lens.
Yeah, and the funniest thing of all this is I'm legitimately just waiting for Nick to walk back in so we could end the stream in a somewhat appropriate manner. We're never, especially saying you're off of work right now. We may try to recruit and task you with helping keep this going a little bit more through like managing posting and whatnot on Facebook, which I think as long as you use your other arm, you'll be good. And then possibly inviting you on a bit more because it is the Nick and Zac Show. It doesn't say how many Zacs. It also doesn't say how many Nicks. I had another Nick on here a couple, like a month or more ago, and it was that Nick was sidetracking himself playing video games instead of paying attention.
Yeah. Another one of my neighbors came to me, by the way, and wound up making mention of my Wi-Fi network name again.
You sure you want to dox yourself with your Wi-Fi name?
Oh, it's all good. It's kind of funny.
Is it family friendly?
It's not necessarily anything crude or anything like that, but we'll talk about that another time. We'll let you determine whether or not we talk about that on air.
Yeah, bro, if you have to say we'll talk about that off air to find out if it's appropriate for on air, it probably is completely inappropriate for off air too.
It's not necessarily inappropriate, but it's a play on my last name.
So probably completely inappropriate.
Yeah, if people don't really, I hear somebody giggling in the background.
Yeah. That's because that Niffler showed up on screen.
Oh.
It's mommy's Niffler, but so that automatically means it belongs to a 3-year-old because it's a stuffed animal. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I walked away from the kids because the baby was starting to come up to me with a baby shark puppet.
See, my issue is 100% issue to run this with what is it, the StreamYard, but you see the powered by StreamYard logo because I don't pay to use things because free is good. The StreamYard, I have to be physically, at least one account has to be physically on a computer to broadcast it. Now, I could log in on my phone through the same way you did by sharing that link, go wander around everywhere as long as my computer, and I could completely disconnect the webcam and do that. But then how do I start, stop, change things like the banner here where I can go, oh, hey, this is the Nick and Zac Show. At one point we had briefly the kitty hour, because there was a kitty head on it, so yeah. Yeah, so I can change those banners. There's ways to do other things. I haven't had a chance to really screw with much of it. You can green screen now, so I could change this whole background if I put a green screen behind me. But, Nick could not be showing all his rifles hanging on the wall, things like that.
Well, what's wrong with the rifles on the wall?
I didn't say there was. I just said he could.
Oh, yeah.
I was just saying, he could. Look like he's in a real office. Okay, your tablet's dead. That means you probably used it.
I say the same thing to the 2-year-old.
Well, you have to homeschool your 3-year-olds because they don't take them to school yet because they're not potty trained. Oh, yeah, no, that's
what are you talking
completely
about? We're doing homeschooling now.
Well, that's completely coronavirus related. I literally they don't take them in preschool until they're potty trained. I mean, it just is what it is.
Another interesting thing with the coronavirus stuff is it's showing weaknesses in different infrastructure across the country. And where I'm going to go with this is specifically with our own school district here. They don't have the infrastructure to go ahead and provide distance learning. So our school district is in a very bad position right now where possibly everybody in this school district has to retake the year.
I'm wondering how
They're
that'll all
talking
turn
about
out.
it.
They can talk about it all they want. I'm pretty sure they will roll into next year and force the kids to learn.
Well, I mean, they're even talking like, okay, how do we let these kids graduate high school without actually finishing their courses? Because they do not have the availability and the infrastructure of their network computers to be able to handle the load.
Well,
interesting thought.
It is way too in depth of a conversation for what this whole stream was started on, and that was, we'll read it one more time, just because you were late in the game, so you can go, people are dumb. We'll let you say people are dumb. I think Nick froze. I'm not really sure.
He's back. Okay. Hey, look at that.
We'll read it. I know, right? We'll read it one more time.
A frozen heart. Anyhow.
Yeah. I'm a little distracted because we went over our time limit already.
Right. Yeah, I know. That's right. I'm going to read this one more time so you can both go, people are dumb, and know why this started, because, let's recap real quick. People aren't taking this serious. At first, I was very unsure how serious this was going to get. Now I'm afraid of how bad it has got. I'm afraid for my kids. I've never thought of my kids possibly living in a world without, there's a space there, Zach, in case you didn't know, without me, or vice versa. This virus makes that feeling all too real for me. This virus shows it has no preference, just like death doesn't. If that's not a huge eye-opener for everyone, IDK, what is? I'm still sure IDK is I'm dumb, okay. This is a death sentence for most, especially with us becoming low on supplies. First of all, learn to read. I think Nick fell over dead.
No, that was actually the perfect expression, perfectly timed with exactly what you just read. That was absolutely perfect, even though it was completely on accident.
It was completely on accident, but
yeah, and I mean, this brings different state jokes to mind where people like to play on.
No, we're not rehashing. We're not
rehashing. But it's like, wow.
No, it's your fault. It's your fault for waiting so long to see that anything was sent to you and to be able to join. Not my fault.
I just hit my phone like 15 minutes ago. So that was towards the end of your whole broadcast anyhow.
Right. But my point being, we do not have the time to rehash. We really don't. But how dumb.
Oh, yeah.
How freaking dumb.
What age was the person that put that up?
Adult.
How old, though?
How old? How old was that person?
Yes.
Like mid to late 20s.
Okay, that explains it right there. That's the generation just following us.
Well, we're talking between 25 and 35. Let's just go like a rough time frame there. So that's still technically
okay.
That's still technically our generation. Like I said, mid 20s, mid to late 20s is still our generation.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this is the generation that has lived with text messaging for so long. You should have seen the crap when I dropped out of college that people were typing. It's ridiculous. Nobody knows how to write because they still write text message. It's not the push frickin' the button 12 times texting anymore. You can write in proper English again. You have a keyboard.
I just use swipe. Yep. I'll admit I cheat. I use swipe all the time. Autocorrect's funny with swipe at times too.
Yeah, but you're an engineer. You're an engineer, so combat engineer, we don't expect much out of you.
Same with MPs.
You're really leaving the infantry fuck alone.
Huh?
You're really leaving the 11 Bravo alone in that.
Well, okay.
I mean, I'm not the
he
one
can't
poking
help
fun at the
it.
combat engineer.
He can't help it, okay? 11 Bravo, that's all he qualified for? I mean, he can't help it. He wrote the short bus. It's
No,
a shame.
let's just say 8th grade, there's a reason all op orders are written at 8th grade level reading level, 8th grade education reading level. And it's
They
for
need the MPs to understand it.
Infantry existed long before the MPs, and they dictated that for a reason. They had to bring in MPs again and again and again. They had to bring in MPs again and again and again for one reason. And they pulled them out of the infantry to do it. They took the smart infantry guys, made them MPs, and go, now arrest the idiot infantry guys because you already know who's
smart infantrymen.
Well, yeah. I mean, fuck. I mean, honorary infantry. No, honorary infantry. You can ask Crep. I'm one of the few that can say it. One of the few. They recognized me as honorary infantry. You're still a combat engineer. Piss off. And on that note, you guys have a good.
Look, we didn't always have route clearance there, so we didn't rely on engineers. So
right. So hey, watch this.
I didn't do route clearance. I was sapper platoon.
This is here's the fun part, and guess what? Pew. He can still hear us, so that's the best part. But Nick, but for the proper, he did say he would come in and try to help out, especially because he's off work on managing Facebook. I will get with him another day, and we can have another Zach and the Nick and Zac show. Maybe one day, we can actually, do this a little more often. Try to work out a schedule. Weekends are probably best for you, more in the early morning time frame.
Yeah,
early morning. So when I'm the first one up. I'm the first one up in the house, so before the rest of the house is up, before you go to bed, so that you're already irritated, because irritated Nick is the best Nick for the Nick and Zac show.
Yeah, that is true.
And, people are dumb. Hi, Zach, you have a good night. We weren't being rude. We were just making a point. But
all right.
You guys have a good night.
I'm good with early morning as well. I'm usually waking up 5 or 6 for no explainable reason, even when my day's off.
You want to know what you want to know? What's also a no explainable reason?
What?
Why I'm so hideously ugly?
No, this. But okay, Nick, Zach, who can only hear us and can't talk anymore. You have a good night. And don't get in too much trouble. Some of us have to work in the morning. So
yeah, I work tomorrow night. So
okay, everyone, this has been the Nick and Zac Show. I'm your technically co-host, which is nice for me because it means I am supposed to have way less work than what I actually do for some weird reason. But because somehow I'm nominated as producer of the show, because why should the host do any fucking work? He doesn't even show up half the time. So you have a good night, folks, and we'll try to be back with you more. Seeing nobody watched us live, hopefully somebody watches us not live. And if you got if you got to this point, we're giving you a discount code on watching us on YouTube. It is, we make no money off this yet because we're not that popular.
We're still free.
Yeah, that's your code. And we're not daily because you don't pay us. So
pretty much.
Discount. We will give you 100% off of the no money you pay to watch this as of today, which is the day that I filmed this, because I'm not reading dates because I don't even know what time it is and what day it is. So don't come asking me for a discount code a year from now when we're still not popular and still not making money. You guys have a good night.
Good night.